Greetings, I'm Carla and I'm here to present my independent study project for the Career Development Facilitator course I am a part of through the National Career Development Association. For my independent study project, I've researched and created documents within the areas of labor market, training, job seeking and employment, technology, and diverse populations. For training, I've created a college workshop on transferable skills. For one section on job seeking and employment, I've created 2 resumes and cover letters highlighting 2 professionals at different stages in their careers. And for technology, I've learned how to use PowerPoint with transitions, text direction, sections and sounds. I've learned how to insert and crop screenshots, insert charts, and various additional lessons. These documents are attached as my Part 1 in the Independent Study Forum. For this presentation, I will be discussing labor market trends and projections, hot industries, and the career challenges service members and veterans experience. So without further ado, let's begin. I very much enjoyed researching the labor market, so much so that I have subscribed to the Bureau of Labor Statistics email updates, reports, and articles on Career Outlook. In reviewing several articles from sites including Forbes, Money, and Burning Glass Technologies, an analytics software company delivering real-time labor market data, the information remained consistent. Skill sets are blending across industries. More jobs are hybrids, combining skills from across different fields. Employers have been raising the credential bar, now requiring bachelor's degrees for positions that did not require them in the past. Employers want employees that are ready to work from day one. They want interns to arrive already experienced in the skill sets they expect them to have, such as skills in specific software programs or technical functions. Increased transparency in the application and interview process. In 2018, job seekers can expect more visibility into both the application process and the status of job applications in real time. Opportunities for individuals with no technical skills are dwindling. There are basic computer skills that most all companies require. Healthcare jobs continue to experience a deep growth at 18%. Architecture and engineering jobs are at a growth projection of 7%. IT jobs continue to be increasingly difficult to fill, however, are at a growth projection of 13%. More people are searching for flexible jobs. These searches soared 57% between the end of 2014 and the end of 2016. By 2024, the Bureau of Labor Statistics projects that the labor force will grow to about 164 million people. Over the entire 2014 to 2024 decade, the labor force growth rate of the 65 to 74-year-old age group is expected to be about 55%, and the labor force growth rate of the 75 and older age group is expected to be about 86%. That's compared with a 5% increase for the labor force as a whole. According to the United States Department of Labor, by 2050, the U.S. population is expected to increase by 50%, and minority groups will make up nearly half the population. Immigration will account for almost 2/3 of the nation's population, and almost 1 in 10 Americans will be of Asian or Pacific Islander descent. The use of computers and the internet in workplaces will become more pervasive, and the functions performed using computers will dramatically increase. The influence of technology will go beyond new equipment and faster communications, as work and skills will be redefined and reorganized. According to ONET Online, occupations categorized as bright outlook are expected to grow rapidly between 2016 and 2026. These occupations include healthcare, engineering, and computer technology. For example, within healthcare, dental hygienists are projected to grow 15% or higher. Projected job openings 18,000, and average salary is 73,000. MRI technologists projected growth is 10 to 14%. Projected job openings is 2,500 and average salary is 65,000. For registered nurses, the projected growth is 15% or higher. Projected job openings is 203,000. Average salary is 68,000. Within the computer technology field, software developers are projected to grow faster than average at 10 to 14%. Projected job openings is 33,000 and average salary is 106,000. And for web developers, projected growth is faster than average at 10 to 14%. Projected job openings 14,000 and the average salary is 67,000. And within the applied engineering and technologies field, civil engineers are projected to grow 10 to 14%. Projected job openings is 26,000 and average salary is 83,000. And last but not least, surveyors projected growth is 10 to 14%. Projected job openings 3,800 and the average salary is 59,000. How do we market these findings? In a higher education setting, more specifically a community college, labor market data can assist in program development. A great article to read is How Community Colleges Use Job Market Data to Develop New Programs. In a four-year college where you have majors in, for example, biology, chemistry, computer science, and engineering, data on hot industries should be prevalent throughout the college. This includes educating academic and program advisors, career counselors, and faculty members. And individual workshops on these industries can be created. Perhaps large programming can be created around job trends, career outlook, and labor market findings. For the last section of Men-Dependent Study, I researched both the general and employment challenges service members and veterans experience separating from military life. According to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, civilians may not be aware of the unique challenges that separating from military service and returning to civilian life can present. Veterans may find difficulty relating to people who do not know or understand what military personnel have experienced. Reconnecting with family and reestablishing a role in the family. Families may have created new routines during absences, and both the family and the veteran will have to adjust to those changes. Joining or creating a community. When moving to a new base or post, the military helps military personnel and families adjust. This structure is often not automatically in place when someone separates from the military. The veteran and his or her family may have to find new ways to join or create a social community. Preparing to enter the workforce. A veteran may have never looked for, applied for, or interviewed for a civilian job, especially if she or he had a career in the military. These are new skills he or she will have to learn and master. In applying for a job, a veteran will have to determine how to translate his or her military skills and duties in civilian terms. And a veteran may have never created a resume. Instead of a resume, the military uses the field service record to detail qualifications, training, and experience. In an article from realwarriors.net titled 8 Battlefield Skills That Make Reintegration Challenging, these skills include safety. Military personnel in the war zone must be on constant alert for danger. Everyday events at home, like a traffic jam, can trigger a sense of danger and vulnerability. Those accustomed to living in a safe and secure environment may find these attitudes and behaviors difficult to understand. Trust and identifying the enemy. To survive, military personnel must learn quickly not to automatically trust in the war zone. It's better to assume that everyone is the enemy until proven otherwise. At home, mistrust and suspicion can severely damage the most important relationships, including marriage. Mission orientation. The primary task in the military is to complete the mission ordered from above. All attention and resources are directed to its completion. In the civilian world, individuals are expected to take initiative, seek out tasks, balance competing priorities, and decide for themselves how to proceed. Decision making. In the war zone, following orders is critical to personal safety, the well-being of comrades, and the success of the mission. Military personnel whose rank requires decision making must give life and death orders even when all the information is not available. At home, especially in families, decision making tends to be cooperative. People take time to consider questions and options and to seek out additional information. Response tactics. In the war zone, survival depends on automatic responses to danger. It is critical to act first with maximum firepower and think later. Keeping all supplies and equipment, including weapons, clean, well-maintained, and in a proper place is critical to response. At home, messy rooms and dirty dishes can feel dangerous, and the service member's response to these realities may appear as an overreaction and can intimidate or even frighten family members. Predictability and intelligence control. In the war zone, troops are in serious danger if the enemy can predict their movements, routine, location, or intentions. Military personnel learn to vary their routine and withhold information. But at home, in a civilian environment, employers expect routines, and children need them. Emotional control. Combat exposes military personnel to overwhelming events that elicit fear, loss, and grief. Yet the job requires that they move on quickly, staying alert and vigilant. The range of acceptable emotions may narrow to anger and numbness. Drugs and alcohol can sustain emotional numbing even after the service member comes home. Emotions that are dangerous in combat are critical for relationships at home. And last but not least, talking about the war. It's hard to talk about how the war changed the individual. War may challenge the service member's core beliefs about humanity and justice in the world. There are few opportunities to reflect on this in the combat situation. At home, it's difficult to explain to civilians, to people who live in safety, what happened in combat, what decisions were made, why those decisions were necessary. Talking about the war may overwhelm that service member with horror or grief, and service members may be afraid that their stories will upset people they care about or lead to rejection. Hiring Our Heroes is a nationwide initiative to help veterans, transitioning service members, and military spouses find meaningful employment and opportunity. To bridge the gap between employers and their veteran workforces, in 2016, Hiring Our Heroes surveyed 400 human resources professionals and hiring managers to understand how businesses recruit and retain veterans and identify any misperceptions that exist about those veterans. In addition, Hiring Our Heroes surveyed 1,000 veterans who have transitioned from the military within the last 5 years to assess the success of their transitions and discover challenges they faced. Key findings include American businesses have made tremendous strides over the last 5 years as they work to recruit veterans into their workforce. Veterans are now ranked as a top 3 recruiting target for companies, underscoring the commitment to and investment in veterans being made by American businesses. A civilian-military divide still exists, And greater efforts are required as veterans are onboarded into a civilian work environment, such as providing training to help coworkers understand the unique attributes of military service. Veterans continue to face challenges as they transition from the military, but the survey results show a clear relationship between a successful transition and when transitioning service members start their job search. Those who begin to plan for transition early, more than 6 months before separation, fare better than those who wait. And female veterans appear to have greater difficulty finding their first post-military job compared with their male counterparts. They also reported higher instances of being economically worse off than after military service. The data warrants further analysis into whether female veterans experience greater challenges during transition. More in-depth findings include more than 80% of HR and recruiting professionals say that their companies lack specialized training to help civilian employees and staff relate to veterans. Similarly, nearly 70% report that their employers do not provide any special assistance to veterans during the onboarding process. Of the 22% of HR professionals reporting both positive and negative biases, 62% provided responses suggesting a negative view on veterans. Veterans report a variety of challenges related to their job search. The most frequent reported challenge is deciding what career path to pursue at 61%, followed by not receiving feedback from any kind of hiring managers at 56%, not having the necessary resources or contacts at 53%, and networking with hiring managers or employers at 52%. Respondents who started their job search at least 6 months prior to leaving military service were twice as likely, 25% versus 12%, to have a job before leaving active duty compared to those who started less than 6 months before transitioning. Whereas 56% of male veterans find their first job within 3 months of leaving, only 45% of female veterans find a job within 3 months. In an article from the National Career Development Association titled Transitioning from the Military, Been There, Done That, Got the Green T-Shirts to Prove It, Sean Conlon, a veteran of the Marine Corps, incorporates a few tips for career practitioners when working with clients transitioning from the military. First, do not assume that transitioning military members are committed to working in the defense industry or government. Approach them as you would any other client, beginning with helping them to understand who they are, what they value, and how they can contribute. Second, there is a transition period, and it is different for everyone. Some folks will make the transition more easily than others, and some will need time to rewire their brains to focus on themselves instead of a mission and the people they lead. It may take some time for them to work through the process of self-discovery and options knowledge. Third, military personnel are used to thinking in terms of team as opposed to I, and may be reluctant to take full credit for all they have accomplished. Help them to realize that they have plenty of transferable skills, and take the time to understand their accomplishments so you can help them translate from military speak to language employers will understand. And finally, the transition programs for separating military members are designed to provide people the basics of career exploration and planning. However, they do not assess the readiness and capability of each individual in the program. Service members are required to attend but are not required to fully be engaged in the process, so counselors should be prepared to work with veterans at varying stages. What can companies do? Gain knowledge of the military and its ranks and structure. Provide training to help civilian employees relate to veterans. Deliver assistance to veterans during onboarding. Look for courses on various aspects of being an employer of veterans. PsychArmor.org provides free education and support for all Americans to engage effectively with the military community. Train recruiters in reading veteran resumes, and improve communication between recruiters, hiring managers, and veterans, especially during the interview process. And how can veterans help themselves? They can start the job search process early, research and reflect on obtained skills, occupations, and interests, know their worth. They can seek assistance with networking, resume writing, interviewing, and identifying transferable skills, and being clear on their needs and wants. They can set realistic, achievable goals. Location is key. Veterans have strong adapting skills, and after some research, they may decide to move to a state where they will be more successful in employment. And lastly, they can learn how to translate military language into civilian language. In an article from the National Career Development Association titled From Combat Boots to Cowboy Boots and Other Career Services for New Veterans, Jennifer Kim creates a brief listing of resources catering to service members and veterans. Some include the Ability One program, America's Heroes at Work, Combat Boots to Cowboy Boots, Helmets to Hard Hats, Hire Heroes USA, and the Veterans Corporation. The Occupational Network's online military crosswalk resource allows users to search military occupations to determine knowledge, skills, abilities, and more, and give a clearer picture of a civilian equivalent occupation. The next two slides are brief lists of military-friendly employers within the healthcare and information technology industries. For a complete listing, please visit militaryfriendly.com. This concludes my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great working with and meeting all of you, and I wish you good luck in all of your future endeavors. Thank you to Dr. Mayetta and my tech partner, Darius. Take care.